Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Sam, and today I'm bringing you guys a gameplay of some team deathmatch on the map WMD. And today I want to talk a little bit about how to play WMD specifically using either assault rifles or SMGs, and I also want to talk a little bit about map control. So on a general note, I want to talk for a second here about the kind of tips that I usually give in my videos. Mainly seem to be tips that I try to make fucking A, I cannot talk today. I usually like to give you guys tips that you guys can apply to pretty much any game mode or on any map or whenever, wherever, but really that's not always the most efficient way to do things. So today I want to tell you guys that I want to start doing very specific type of tutorials, like for example, how to play team deathmatch on WMD, and at that I can talk specifically about assault rifle roles versus SMG roles and what positions you should take with each one of them. I can also talk about firing range search and destroy. I can talk about an array of different map and game type combinations, and I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to try and do that more often now to give you guys sort of this like library of videos that you guys can refer to and kind of learn a little bit about very specific things. That way in the long term, if you learn a lot of the specific stuff that only applies to certain maps or certain game modes, then eventually you can sort of just know everything about every map and every game mode. So if all goes according to plans, these should be just as helpful as the other tip videos that I make. So enough about talking about giving tips. Let's actually get down to giving tips. So let's talk a little bit about assault rifles. So when using an assault rifle, there's going to be three main positions that I'm going to use on this map. Number one, the most obvious out of any of them, and the one that you're going to want to frequent the most, is going to be this middle building right here. Well, not right here because I'm in a chopper gunner right now, but here as in where I just laid down to call in my chopper gunner. That middle building, the top storage room, that is an incredible place to hold down, and it's a very cliche place. I understand that a lot of people probably assume that that's where most of the people are going to be with assault rifles. That's the spot to hold down, and it is. There's a reason why most people would probably assume that that's where you'd be with an assault rifle, where you'd want to be, and they assume that because that is where you want to be. So don't be afraid to try and control that building. A lot of people might be intimidated by the fact that there's probably a lot of other people trying to control that building. The best advice I can give you is use a motion sensor. Don't try and use a claymore. A claymore will only work with one person, and then you are on your own. You got to watch your back, and trust me, your hearing isn't that good to hear people coming up behind you. Mine isn't, at least. So I'd recommend a motion sensor to hold down that middle building. Now let's talk about the other two positions I want to talk about. For assault rifles, of course. The first one is going to be the truck that you saw me go near towards the beginning of this match. I ran out to the right of the gate and I ran behind a truck. If you don't know what I'm talking about, because it's hard for me to describe it, refer back to the beginning of this video, this little like tanker truck that I hid behind. And that area, you might think to yourself, well, this is just a kind of pointless spot, an easy to guess spot, not much cover, but it's sort of like a pit stop. You should really think of it as a way to gain map control. As you're progressing forward on a map, if you know enemies are going to be in your line of sight when you go to that truck, then that's a great place to go because it gives you cover and you can pop out to the right, to the left, and it also gives you access to the roof above it. So it's a really good spot to go to, and I'd highly recommend that spot as well. And the third spot I want to talk about is the building that is across from the building that I'm in right now. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because, again, as far as map control goes, that is a great building to hold down when you're trying to I guess again make a little pit stop at when you're trying to gain map control. If you can control that building, pick off a couple people, usually in the building opposite from it, which is the building that I'm in right now, coincidentally, then you can gain a little bit of map control and move forward into your enemy spawn and eventually spawn trap them, or could just kind of more or less manhandle them, if that makes any more sense. So those are the three positions that I would recommend using assault rifles for. Motion sensors are going to be very beneficial for the first and the third, and the second one, again, it's just a pit stop. You just want to sit there, pick off some guys mid-map, try and look up in this building that I'm in right now, and you should be able to get a couple kills if you're using an assault rifle. So let's talk about SMGs. So there's not as much to say for SMGs, especially specific spots. So basically, let me explain to you where you want to go with the SMGs. Everywhere where you can't see somebody from the three spots that I described for assault rifles is a good spot to run with your SMG. It's a pretty bad idea to try and run out in the middle of the map near the street. It's a pretty bad idea to run behind this big storage building that I recommend you go in, because a lot of time people are expecting you. So you want to run around the outskirts of the map and never be out in the middle of nowhere. And I know this sounds obvious, but I cannot even tell you, probably 50% of my kills with my gun this game came from people who are trying to traffic the street area, and it's just not a smart place to go, so I really recommend that you try and stay away from it. So anyway guys, SMGs and assault rifles, WMD, not as much to say as I wish there was. So anyway guys, final score of this game was 37-1. Took advantage of these guys with my air support, and that's pretty much it. See you guys later. Bye.